see a lot of people touting cures, touting treatments for autism, saying that these are problematic behaviors. And I want to say to them that every behavior is also an outcome of a particular reason. Hi, I'm Aditi and I love all. My name is Aditi Gangrade. I'm 25 years old. I'm from Mumbai. I'm the Purple Ambassador for International Purple Fest 2024 and I'm an autistic ADHD person with PMDD. At 23, I found out that I'm autistic, and that was because of my husband's discovery of autism. He started reading this book called Neurotypes and he related a lot with that. And when I read most of the literature on autism and ADHD, I couldn't relate to most of it because it was always written from a men's perspective or a boy's perspective, and it was never about women and how women present and how queer people present. So I think that is why it took me so long to find out that I'm autistic. And once I started seeing more autistic ADHD women creators, I started to feel like I relate with this and they are talking about my life. And that is how I started even thinking about my neurodivergence, and I started to think in that direction because of other women and because of reading stories about other women. Every time someone asks me what exactly autism is, they expect me to talk about my challenges, my the problems. And for the longest time, for 23 years of my life, I've felt broken in some way. I've felt that I'm not the best self. I just felt incomplete and I felt something is missing. I'll give you one example. When I was in my college, I saw everyone around me, I saw my peers who came from different cities, different states, and they were also confident. They were also communicating so well, and I felt that something is lacking in me. And I even wanted to take like classes to work on my skills and be better, etc. And after my autism ADHD discovery, I realized that this is not a deficit. A lot of autistic kids are told, kids who are diagnosed early in their life are told that there is something wrong with them, that they have a communication deficit. And I can tell you that I can prove this wrong. This is not correct. So neurodivergent people communicate in a different way than neurotypical people, and it's not that something is wrong with us. It's just the double empathy problem. And by the double empathy problem, I mean that neurodivergent people communicate in a certain way, neurotypical people communicate in a certain way, and it's just a different way of doing things as opposed to someone being less or someone being more than them. So yeah, so that was the major discovery of my life. And I think after that I realized that I think it also took time. So once you discover your autistic ADHD, it's not like in just 1 week your life will change and you will start thinking good about yourself, or you will even understand what your needs are, what your accommodations are. It takes a long time. I've been told, I think, more than 100 times that I don't look autistic, and that I look very normal and people can't see the classic autistic challenges in me. And I feel that there is very little awareness, first of all, about autism. It's not just a children's condition. Autistic children grow up to be autistic adults. And I want to say that out loud to everyone out there, that there is no look about autism. You can't look autistic. Autism is a different way of being. Autism is a different brain wiring, and that is something that you are born with and you can't change that. I see a lot of people touting cures, touting treatments for autism, saying that these are problematic behaviors. And I want to say to them that every behavior is also an outcome of a particular reason. So if a person is behaving a certain way, try to understand why they are behaving a certain way. People say that autistic people are rude, they are angry, and I think we need to look beyond that. We need to understand why autistic people are a certain way. If you are making an autistic person sit in a very loud environment, if they are surrounded by like too many people, or if there's crowd around and it's chaotic and it's like a sensory overload for them, then automatically that person will be uncomfortable, will show that behavior, because they are not in the best environment that they need. So I think we need to start looking at autistic people and start listening to more stories of autistic adults. So I run a production house, Much Much Media. It's a media company, and I've been working as a social filmmaker, and I also work in advertising. And I was like, we need to do something. We need to have a repository of content in India which talks about lived experiences of people with all kinds of disabilities, not just autism, not just neurodiversity, all kinds of disabilities, because we need to see disabled people take charge of their narratives. We are done with people talking about us, and I strongly believe in nothing about us without us. So we started Much Much Spectrum. Much Much Spectrum is a content and insights inclusive storytelling. Much Much Spectrum is an inclusive storytelling studio that focuses on creating content and doing research, and we also work as a DEI consultancy with corporates and with non-profits. So we started including and hiring more neurodivergent and disabled people within our company, and that is how we started learning more about other kinds of disabilities. And we went across India. We started with this series called Alag Hai Kam Nahi, in which we traveled across Mumbai and captured six stories of neurodivergent and disabled people. That was the beginning of Much Much Spectrum. We listened to people with lived experiences. We heard stories of parents and caregivers and also professionals, and we got to learn so much. Yeah, so that is how Much Much Spectrum was born, and our community just started growing, and it's been 2 years, and we are a community of 50,000 people globally. So our audience comprises of people from India, from Pakistan, from the US, UK, Canada, Netherlands, and many other places. And it's become a place where people come and meet each other. They find friends who are like them. I never had a neurodivergent friend. And now so many Indian women specifically are meeting on our page. They're commenting on our posts, on our reels, and they're finding people like them, and they are becoming best friends, which is the best part. And now we've also started to work with brands and sensitizing brands, and we are explaining what neurodiversity is, what disability is, and how can they include disabled and neurodivergent people in their branding, in their advertising. So I'll give you a couple of examples of the brands that are working in India in the disability space. There is KFC that is doing a brilliant job with the Speak Sign campaign. There's McDonald's that's working for people with color blindness. And in other countries, there's Vanish UK. Vanish UK did a brilliant film on autistic people, on autistic women, and it was about sensory sensitivity. So I'm seeing that change happen, and I'm more hopeful about the neurodivergent community, because parents have also started learning about neurodiversity affirming practices. They are starting to be more open to listening to other autistic people, and it's not like us versus you, it's all of us together. It's us, the self advocates, it's us, it's also the caregivers and parents and professionals and everyone else who's been working in this field for so many years. And I think as a community, we are all sort of coming together. If you are a neurodivergent person, I also want to encourage you to start talking about your neurodivergence only if you feel comfortable about it and if you feel that your environment is affirming, because as a community we need to be more loud. We need to start self-advocating more so that people in power start looking at our community. We've been a very marginalized community. We've been a very not able to find the right word. We've also been a very neglected community. We need to start talking about our needs, about our accommodations, about our rights, and as a community we need to uh, be more vocal about our neurodivergence only if we are comfortable in our spaces, because I can also understand that the label of neurodivergence also comes with a lot of stigma, and especially if you are in a tier 2 city, especially when people around you don't understand neurodivergence, uh, but you can always talk about it with people who are like you, and that can happen through support groups, through communities like ours. So please always feel free to reach out to us if you want to understand more about neurodiversity, if you want to get more resources, get more help and more support, find more support groups. Then you can follow us on Instagram at Much Much Spectrum, on YouTube at Much Much Media, and on LinkedIn at Much Much Spectrum. I am at Aditi Gangrade _ so please feel free to connect with us. I have a message for the world. If you don't know much about neurodiversity, I think it's time you start learning about it. And what better way to learn about it than lived experiences? Start listening to more autistic people, start listening to people with ADHD, with dyslexia, dysgraphia, bipolar, schizophrenia. And there is no shame in saying that you don't understand it. It's never too late to start learning more about neurodiversity, and we need to break the stigma. And to break the stigma, we need people outside the community as well, people who don't have neurodivergence, people who are not caregivers. We need more allies. We need more support from the world outside. And please also know that autism or any kind of neurodivergence is not a defect. It's not a defect. It's a different way of being, and we need to start being more open to learning more, to hearing more, and to accepting more. Let's love all.